If your first language is Chinese, Mandarin, Taiwanese, Cantonese, or another Chinese dialect, then there are some commonalities in your speech that cross over into your spoken English. Let's focus on those today. Now, first of all, you want to think about the articulators. There's an earlier video of mine where I show you how to stretch out the jaw, mouth, lips, making sure that you can use full range of motion in your mouth. You'll want to revisit that video. In particular, for Chinese speakers, make sure that you have a full range of motion from side to side. Many first language Chinese speakers are only moving to one side. So notice this portion of the exercise, and where we did the kissing noise. Make sure when you do the smack that you're going equidistant. If you find that you're only moving to one side and the muscles don't move to the other side, you'll want to stretch them, relax them, and practice these articulation exercises until you can. Notice how much my mouth is opening. If you keep your mouth relatively closed, it sounds different. So you need to make sure the articulators are working before you go forward. The next step is airflow. For Chinese speakers, each word is tightly controlled like this. That's great that you have that ability with pitch. Most Americans do not. However, you want to link the words, that's important, but you need to breathe as you do so. This is linking without breathing. I am going to talk by merely linking my words. Notice how funny it makes me sound when I don't breathe. This is what you want to avoid. This sounds fake. It doesn't sound genuine and it doesn't sound natural. To make your speech more natural, Chinese speakers want to breathe and speak from the diaphragm with a focus on releasing air. Actually, too much air is preferable to too little. Filling up and speaking from the diaphragm. Now, if this isn't happening for you, there are a couple of things you can do. That is, you're filling up with air and nothing's coming out. You want to release the throat and neck muscles. If you're finding this challenging, work with a speech coach who can help you to enact change. But the first step is to get air to come out the mouth. You can tell because you'll actually hear a difference in your speech when you record. Now, certain sounds carry more air more fluently than others. Sounds like zzz. So let's work on that zzz sound. Start with a word like zebra. Now, most Chinese speakers would say zebra. Very short, right? So make sure that Z is nice and long. Zebra. The first syllable is longer than the second. Zebra. Lots of air. Zebra. If there's no air on your hand, start with a voiceless sound like s, sing, and get lots of air. Sing. Notice how much air there is on that sound. Try an S at the end of a word like bus. Get lots of S and then go back to the Z with a buzz. Zebra. You want to have a vibration or a buzz along with airflow. Zzz. Now let's make zebra plural. Zebras. That last sound should have lots of air. You don't want it to sound like zebras. Notice you almost can't tell it's a Z at the end. Zebras. Exaggerate the airflow and the sound. If it sounds too long or too exaggerated, first know that it's necessary to exaggerate to change the brain. Secondly, record your speech. When you hear it sounding better, you'll be more motivated to do these exercises. So again, back to the z sound. If you hear z, z, z rather than z, that is, it's not continuous but broken. Z, z, z. This is airflow related. We need to work on the natural flow of breath. So make sure that you have lots of airflow. And also, many first language Chinese speakers tend to truncate, shorten, or take off the ending. A word like test becomes test. And barely audible is the ending T. So to get that T sound at the end, one area that you can focus in is loudness. Now when you say the word test, many first language Chinese speakers will shorten that T at the end to make it test again, softer and more muted. So instead, crank up the volume. Test. Now try an ED sound. Try a word like tested. Tested. Make the D louder. Tried. what you want to do is make that last sound loud so that your brain begins to realize it's important. I tried to do it. Now, granted, you don't want to speak this way naturally to others. I'm talking about your focused practice, where you spend about 10 minutes a day working on endings. It's important to know the rules about voiced and voiceless endings. Test, tested, tried, charged, and then words that just end in T, like noticed. So first you do need to know the rule for T, D, and ud. However, what's just as important is really focusing on making sure when you talk the endings are there and not dropped. Many Chinese speakers have studied the rules. They know the rules. It's just about using them reliably. So if that's the case for you, record yourself. Notice which sounds are falling off. It could be related to airflow. I would suggest to you that it's a combination of breathing, voicing, and awareness. Tried, or the Z sound, tries. He tried many times. He tried many times. Now, when you're practicing, if you feel that it's too strong, again, too exaggerated, then simply add airflow. Don't stop exaggerating. He tried many times is exaggerated, now with airflow. He tried many times. Notice how beautiful that sounds. Keep working with airflow, keep opening the mouth, especially for the ah sound. Many Chinese speakers can make the ah sound, but don't open the mouth wide enough, especially before an N, like change, or time, or tiny. If there's an N or an M after a vowel, it's longer. Look at the word account or accounting. Make sure you're not saying accounting. A cow, ow, accounting. Notice how much the mouth moves, how much airflow is required. Accounting. I work in accounting. Notice how wide the mouth opens, how much time is spent on the N. The N after the vowel is important for Chinese speakers. Maintain. In addition, the M, like timing, and also the L, like silly. Anytime there is an L, like really, after the vowel, or holy, holy moly, notice how long those are. Phone home. Anytime an N, an M, an L, or an is after the vowel, you want to elongate. So again, use your band. Pick a role model. Someone you admire, like a newscaster or an actress, an actor, anyone who you feel speaks well in American English, and notice how they're using the mouth, using the jaw, using the airflow, and using the voicing. I hope these tips have helped you as a Chinese first language speaker to enact change in your speech.